Hello everyone, welcome to the last unit of AFS subject, Accounting for Stockbrokers. Now, in this chapter we are going to understand the SEBI guidelines, SEBI Securities and Exchange Board of India guidelines for the stockbrokers. You all must have seen this latest web series of Scam 1992, Harshad Mehta. If not, then definitely watch. It's a very nice web series on Sony Live. Now, after that scam, SEBI became very active and has put lots of control. Like RBI has put a lot of controls on the banks. You can say SEBI is the RBI of stockbrokers. I repeat, you can say SEBI is like RBI of stockbrokers. So, same way, to avoid the manipulations, to control the activities of stock market fluctuations, volatilities, SEBI takes the control, Securities and Exchange Board of India. And what rules and regulations they have given for stockbrokers? What are their code of conducts, duties? All that we are going to study in this particular lecture. So, very first, let us understand who is a stockbroker and a subbroker. You'll find this on page 1 of your study material. Take out the page 1 of your study material and underline the important points, whatever I tell you from MCQ's point of view in your exams. Okay, whatever things can be asked in MCQ, I'll be highlighting in this lecture. You need to underline the same. So, who is a stockbroker and a subbroker? We already know who is a stockbroker. He is the agent in between who buys and sells shares on our behalf. So, you basically cannot directly buy the shares from the stock exchange. You need some intermediary in between. Therefore, in web series Scam 1992 also you would have seen so many people standing in the stock exchange shouting, showing the fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the fingers, because even noise could not be heard. All those people sitting in the stock exchange were the brokers or the sub-brokers. So look at the definition. As per SEBI regulations 1992, stockbroker means a person having trading rights in any recognized stock exchange and includes a trader member. Okay, so mainly underline person having trading rights in recognized stock exchange. I repeat, who is a broker? Person having trading rights in any recognized stock exchange. As you can see on the right side, the big bull Harshad Mehta is being shown. There's a character who played Harshad Mehta. Actually, Harshad Mehta was someone else. Sub-broker means a person not being a member of stock exchange who acts on behalf of a stockbroker as an agent or otherwise for assisting the investors in buying, selling or dealing in securities through such stockbrokers. So who are sub-brokers? Sub-brokers are not listed or registered, or they don't have the license to buy and sell in the recognized stock exchange. Sub-brokers are further the agents of stockbrokers. They assist means they help. Okay, they assist means they help. They help the investors in buying and selling or dealing in securities through the stockbrokers. So one is stockbroker who is having the trading rights, who is given the rights by SEBI to buy and sell the shares. You can say that he is listed member of stock exchange. Whereas sub-broker is not the listed member of stock exchange. He just is a subordinate. Okay, he just is a subordinate. Sub word is derived from the word subordinate. So he is a subordinate broker of the stockbroker. He is a sub-agent of the stockbroker who himself is not registered with stock exchange. Because if he himself is registered, then he himself would become the main stockbroker. So he is not registered, but he helps. He helps the stockbroker as well as the investors in buying and selling the shares and securities. Okay, I hope you all understand this. Further look at your study material, registration of stockbrokers. Again, you'll find it on page 1 only. Okay, what is the process of registration of stockbrokers? His first step is getting registered. So very first, what the stockbroker has to do for the registration of stockbrokers, he has to get registered with SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. Stockbrokers and sub-brokers need to get certificate of registration from SEBI in order to proceed with trading. All of you underline, get certificate of registration. Underline that, that can be asked in MCQ. He has to get certificate of registration, COR from SEBI. So this is how this certificate looks like. Okay, certificate of registration of Securities and Exchange Board of India, where the date is given, your address is given, where your office is located, all the details are mentioned over here. So this certificate you need to acquire from SEBI. Second step, application for registration. So first you will get the certificate of registration. Now for that you have to apply. How you are supposed to apply? An application for grant of a certificate of registration as a stockbroker shall be submitted to the board in Form A of schedule through the stock exchange. All of you underline, Form A of the schedule through the stock exchange. You have to file the application in Form A. This is how the Form A looks like, the schedule. You all can see application form or form for intimating the changes. So this kind of application is to be submitted for getting registered. Then third step, consideration of application for grant of registration. Now, once you apply, then SEBI will consider several things before they grant you the certificate of registration. So what all things SEBI will consider? Look at it. The board, that is Securities and Exchange Board. When we talk about board, means SEBI, shall take into account the following. Eligibility. In your first point, all of you underline eligibility. In the first point, all of you underline eligibility. It's a lengthy sentence in your study material. They will verify whether you are eligible to become a stockbroker or not. Second, they will verify the items like, underline all these what I have made you write or what you can see on the screen. Underline those points or parts in your study material. They'll see your infrastructure, like do you have adequate office space, equipments means computers, terminals, etc., and manpower or not. Then underline, they'll see your past experience of trading or dealing in securities, because any newcomer cannot just enter into the business of stockbroking. You require experience in the same. Then underline, has been subjected to disciplinary proceedings, means they'll see in past if any legal actions have been taken against you for misconduct. Maybe you have broken any law, you have any criminal or civil proceedings, then you are not fit to become a stockbroker. So any disciplinary proceedings means legal proceedings done against you in past will prohibit you from becoming the stockbroker. So underline subjected to disciplinary proceedings, they'll verify that. Then is a fit and proper person, means are you fit and proper, mentally you are proper, capable of becoming a stockbroker or not. So underline fit and proper person. Then has any financial liability, underline that, because if you have lots of financial liabilities, then you may do manipulation and fraud on behalf of your investors' money. So SEBI will also verify whether you have any financial liabilities, big amounts or not. So underline that. Has obtained certification in terms of SEBI, certification of associated persons in the securities market regulations 2007. So underline this, has obtained certification in terms of SEBI. And lastly, you satisfy the minimum deposit requirements. To become a stockbroker, you do make minimum deposits with SEBI. Like I said, SEBI is RBI of banks. So banks have to maintain CRR, cash reserve ratio, SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, minimum deposits they have to keep with RBI. Same way, every stockbroker also has to keep minimum deposit with SEBI. Thus, the stockbroker satisfy this minimum deposit requirements or not. So you can pause the video and see all these main points which you need to underline in your study material. Okay, you need to underline these points in your study material. We go further. Fourth step is you'll have to get the license and pay the registration fees. Okay, so stockbrokers need to pay membership fees to the stock exchange. Sub-brokers also need to pay a similar amount. Underline this completely. Then fifth step is starting the practice. Starting the practice means you start trading. Starting the practice means you start buying and selling the shares on behalf of your clients, on behalf of your investors. After receiving a membership number, one can begin trading in stocks on behalf of clients. all stockbrokers and sub-brokers are listed on the SEBI website of registered stockbrokers. Okay, underline this, it can be asked in MCQ. All the stockbrokers and sub-brokers are listed on SEBI website of registered brokers. Now, we take up with the next point. Look at your study material, books of accounts or records to be maintained by stockbroker. So which all books of accounts are required to be maintained? First is register of transactions. All of you underline SODA book in that. Okay, means every transaction which is taking place. You buy shares, you write it in the SODA book. You sell shares, you write it in the SODA book. Second, client's register or ledger. Okay, client's ledger is to be maintained, that what amount of securities are bought and sold on behalf of client, what amount is receivable from him, or what amount is payable to him. Third, general ledger. General ledger of the stockbroker himself, means in the general ledger he will maintain all the expenses accounts, incomes account, all the personal accounts, real accounts, all the accounts what he has in his business. Then he'll maintain the cash book, normal cash book, receipts and payments. Then he should also keep a bank passbook showing all the entries, matching in cash book, bank column and passbook also. Documents register in underline physical form, all of you underline that, physical form, and the statement of account and other records relating to receipts and delivery of securities in respect of underline dematerialized securities, means stockbroker has to maintain separate document register for physical form as well as separate document register for demat securities. Demat means it is like your bank account. Okay, your shares and mutual funds etc are represented directly in the bank account itself, kind of a thing, which is called demat securities. So then physical form and dematerialized securities. Then 8th point, members contract book or counterfoils or duplicates of memos of confirmation. So all of you underline members contract books. Okay, you maintain the members contract books, means counterfoils or duplicates of memos of confirmation. Confirmation means where the buyer gives you the confirmation to buy and buy the securities, where the seller gives you the confirmation to sell the securities. You will take their signature on that contract books. Then counterfoils or duplicates of contract notes issued to the clients. So original will go to the clients. What will be available with the stockbroker is the counterfoil or the duplicate of that contract note. So and then counterfoils or duplicates of contract note. Then written consent of client in respect of contracts entered into as principals. So you do take the written consent of client, means if you are given the consent to buy and sell directly on their behalf, then you make a contract with them, they make you your agent, their agent, and they make you their principal also, means they give you all the rights. They give you the money, 1 lakh rupees, and they give you all the rights that you can buy any shares and sell any shares within this limit of 1 lakh rupees. So that type of written consent is to be obtained. Then margin deposit book. So margin money is to be kept by the clients with you, so that if the price of the share goes down and he is not willing to sell, then you have to sell it until that margin money is available with the stockbroker. So if you buy shares of 1 lakh and there is a margin money of, let us say, 50,000 with you, then till 1,50,000 you'll deal on his behalf. If beyond that the price goes, you'll sell his shares because that much margin money is not with you. Register of accounts of sub-brokers. Sub-brokers accounts and their details will also be maintained. An agreement with the sub-broker specifying the scope of authority and responsibilities of the stockbroker and the sub-broker. So underline agreement with sub-broker over here. And 14, client account opening form in the format as may be prescribed by the board. So underline client account opening form. So any of these can be mentioned, means they'll mention 4 or 5 documents in MCQ and they'll ask you which are the accounts records to be maintained by the stockbroker. In MCQs, you'll be required to identify the same. Now, guidelines for the maintenance of records and books of accounts. Every stockbroker shall intimate to the board the place where the books of accounts, records and documents are maintained. So all of you underline the place. Okay, you have to inform to the SEBI which place you are keeping your books of accounts and records. After the close of each accounting period, every stockbroker shall furnish a copy of the audited balance sheet and profit and loss account as at the end of the accounting period to the board within 6 months from the close of the said period. And in case it is not possible to furnish the above documents within the time specified, the stockbroker shall keep the board informed of the same together with the reasons for the delay and the period of time by which such documents would be furnished. Mainly in MCQ, what can be asked underline? Furnish a copy of audited balance sheet and profit and loss statement within 6 months. In case you are not able to submit it within 6 months, then you have to give the specific reasons to the board why you failed to do that, and then by which period of time you'll again submit the same. Every stockbroker shall preserve the books of accounts and other records maintained under Regulation 17 for a minimum period of 5 years. So this can also be asked in MCQs. All of you underline. Preserve the books of accounts for a period of 5 years. I repeat, underline this. Preserve the books of accounts for a period of 5 years. Going further, Code of Conduct for Stockbroker means what? Code of conduct means what duties should the stockbroker follow. Okay, what qualities should the stockbroker have? A general code of conduct which he is required to follow. Integrity. Integrity means honesty. A stockbroker shall maintain high standards of integrity, promptitude, and fairness in the conduct of all his business. Second, exercise of due skill and care means he will exercise his knowledge perfectly for the benefit of his investors. A stockbroker shall act with due skill, care, and diligence in the conduct of all his business. Third, manipulations. He will not do manipulations. Okay. A stockbroker shall underline not indulge in manipulative, fraudulent, or deceptive transactions or schemes or spread rumors with a view to distorting market equilibrium or making personal gains. So this all basically, as I told you, have been come across after that scam 1992. Because what did Harshad Mehta do? He breached all of these things. He was not honest also. He did not exercise skill and care for his investors. He was doing manipulations, malpractices and frauds also. So to control these things, after that scam, SEBI had become very active. Malpractices. A stockbroker shall not create false market, and you can see in the web series Harshad Mehta used to create that false market, which singly or in concert with the fair and smooth functioning of the market. A stockbroker shall not involve himself in excessive speculative business, and Harshad Mehta used to involve him. Then in the market beyond reasonable levels not commensurate with his financial soundness. So malpractices should not be done. Underline, not create false market, and also underline, not involve in excessive speculative business. Compliance with statutory requirement. A stockbroker shall abide by all the provisions of the Act and the rules, regulations issued by the government, the board, and the stock exchange from time to time as may be applicable to him. So he will comply with all the statutory requirements from time to time. Then, duty towards the investor. Execution of orders means whatever orders are given you to buy at that price, you must be able to buy it if that price is quoted in the stock market. And same way for selling. A stockbroker in his dealings with his clients and the general investing public shall faithfully execute the orders for buying and selling of securities at the best available market price and not refuse to deal with a small investor merely on the grounds of the volume of business involved. So all of you underline, in the second line underline, execute the orders for buying and selling of securities. Then issue of contract note. A stockbroker shall issue without delay to his clients or client of the sub-brokers, as the case may be, a contract note for all transactions. Every transactions contract note must be issued immediately. So all of you underline, issue contract note for all transactions. Breach of trust. A stockbroker shall not disclose or discuss with any other person or make improper use of the details of personal investment and other information of a confidential nature of the client which he comes to know in his business relationship. So breach of trust should not be there. He should not break the trust of his client. So underline, not disclose or discuss confidential nature, information of a confidential nature. Business and commission. A stockbroker shall not encourage sales or purchase of securities with the sole object of generating brokerage or commission. And many people do that. They force you to buy, they force you to sell. Why? Because every transaction you do, they get commission in that. So that stockbroker shall not do. Underline, not encourage with the object of generating brokerage or commission. A stockbroker shall not furnish false or misleading quotations or give any other false or misleading advice or information to the client with a view to inducing him means attracting him, to do the business in particular securities and enabling himself to earn brokerage or commission thereby. So underline, not furnish false or misleading quotations. You should not give false information that this company is good, this company is bad. Wrong information should not be given just to earn commission from the sale. Then again, duty towards the investors are continued. Fifth, business of defaulting clients. A stockbroker shall not deal or transact business knowingly, directly or indirectly, or execute an order for a client who has failed to carry out his commitments in relation to securities with any another stockbroker. So SEBI has clearly mentioned this. If one client fails to perform the payment transactions with one stockbroker, he will be prohibited to deal with any of the stockbrokers. So all of you underline, not deal or transact business. And in the last sentence, failed to carry out his commitment in relations to securities with another stockbroker. Fairness to clients. A stockbroker, when dealing with a client, shall disclose whether he is acting as a principal or as an agent, and shall ensure at the same time that no conflict of interest arises between him and the client. Principal means he himself is buying and selling the shares also or not. In the event of a conflict of interest, he shall inform the client accordingly and shall not ask to a direct or indirect personal advantage from the situation, and shall not consider client's interest inferior to his own. So he is also buying the shares, he will guide you. I am buying the shares, you also buy the shares, and then he cannot take personal advantage from the same. Means he forces all the people to buy those shares, he tries to uplift the market, and then he sells the shares at a higher price. So all of you underline, fairness to clients means underline, disclose whether he is acting as a principal or as an agent. Then investment advice. A stockbroker shall not make a recommendation to any client who might be expected to rely thereon to acquire, dispose of, retain any securities unless he has reasonable grounds for believing that the recommendation is suitable for such a client upon the basis of the facts, if disclosed by such a client, as to his own security holdings, financial situations, and objectives of such investment. So online shall not make any recommendations, because recommendations means you try to motivate people to buy or sell. Later on, if they incur loss, you may be held responsible for the same. So you will not give any false recommendations. Then lastly, stockbrokers' duties towards another stockbroker. Stockbroker vice versa, other stockbrokers means one stockbroker's duty towards another stockbroker. Conduct of dealings. A stockbroker shall not knowingly and willfully deliver documents which constitute bad delivery, and shall cooperate with other contracting party for prompt replacement of documents which are declared as bad delivery. Bad delivery means the client did not pay you the money. I repeat, bad delivery means client did not pay you the money. So underline, shall not deliver documents which constitute bad delivery. Protection of client's interest. A stockbroker shall extend fullest cooperation to other stockbrokers in protecting the interest of his clients regarding their rights to dividends, bonus shares, right shares, or any other rights related to such securities. So underline, extend fullest cooperation, and then directly to in protecting rights to dividends, bonus shares, right shares. Transactions with stockbrokers. A stockbroker shall carry out his transactions with other stockbrokers and shall comply with his obligations in completing the settlement of transactions with him. So online, carry out his transactions with other stockbrokers and comply with his obligations. Advertisement and publicity. A stockbroker shall not advertise the business publicly unless permitted by the stock exchange. Unless permitted by the stock exchange. Inducement of clients. Inducement of clients means attracting other brokers' clients towards your business. A stockbroker shall not resort to unfair means of inducing clients from other stockbrokers. False or misleading returns. A stockbroker shall not neglect or fail to refuse to submit the required returns and not make any false or misleading statement on any returns required to be submitted to the board and the stock exchange. So that'll be all for this lecture. The chapter of stockbroking gets over. Kindly go through the things which I make you underline properly because they can be asked in multiple choice questions. Bye everyone. Take care. See you in the next lecture.